In today's video, I'm going to show you how to gel coat like a pro. Here I'm using an MDF board with a melamine finish on it, and you can pick that up at pretty much any hardware store. I'm going to tape the edges with a 3/4 inch masking tape, and that's just so that the gel coat doesn't drip over the edges and make it difficult to demold. Once that's all sealed on, I'll go ahead and just make sure it's clean, wipe all the dust off with a microfiber cloth. Now I'm going to apply a coat of wax. What I'm using here is a honey wax. It's a mold release wax. It comes with the sponge, and you just load the sponge lightly. Now, using circular motion, you just rub the wax in. And what you're looking for is a dull finish. You can see where you're applying it. Just keep going over. If you thought you missed an area, just keep doing it in a circular motion. Once you've got all that done, you'll allow it to dry. And then go ahead and wipe it off. What you're looking for now is the dullness to disappear. That's that wax coating you had on it. And you're looking for a slight shine. If there's areas that aren't shiny, then you can go ahead and put another little bit of wax there, let it dry, and wipe it off again. Now it's ready for spray. I'm going to be using an HVLP gun. So it's a gravity feed. This particular one I've been using for about 15 years. You can see scratches and a bit of staining on it, but it's never jammed on me. Use acetone to clean the gel coat out. I set my air pressure at 60 pounds per square inch. You can go a little higher, a little lower, but 60 gives you good results. And the spray pattern, I set the cone, and the paint, I set the spring all the way out so that I get as much gel coat as I can going through the needle. Here I'm using a purple gel coat. It's about 3/4 liter, so I'm going to use 15 cc's of MEKP catalyst to activate it, and that's just under a 2%. Now when you mix your gel coat, you should be mixing it for about a minute. And the reason for that is twofold. One is, of course, to mix the catalyst properly, to make sure you've got it all done, get all the edges and everything else. And the other one is while you're mixing it, it tends to thin out the gel coat. It activates the molecules and it thins it out, makes it easier to spray. If you mix for less than that, it's fine, it'll still come through the gun. And if you mix with more than that, it'll actually thicken it again. So 60 seconds is a good rule of thumb. Now when you go to start spraying, you're basically just going to pull the trigger and leave it on. So I'll start on one side, pull the trigger, and I'll just keep the trigger pulled, keep going back and forth. If you look at the spray pattern, I'm overlapping what's wet and what's in a faded section, just kind of half and half. And if you look at the actual dot size, you're looking for a 1/16 inch dot. You can tell it on your first pass. If it's larger than that, then you've got too much paint going through or maybe not enough air. And if it's smaller than that, then your paint needs to be opened up or your air needs to be dropped down. Now the technique I'm using is a cross hatch. And what that does is it makes sure that any areas that may be missed are covered. So I do 3 complete coats. Each coat is about 6 mils thick, and that gives me an 18 mil thick gel coat, which is sufficient for a proper cure. You can tell you've got the last coat done right because you'll end up with an orange peel effect, and I'll show that in a moment. If you don't have the orange peel effect after the third coat, then just go ahead and do another coat. So here you can see the orange peel effect. And that's probably 18 to 20 mils thick. If you go too thick, the gel coat will craze when you bend the fiberglass, and if you go too thin, it won't cure properly when you fiberglass. Thanks for watching my video. If you like this, then go ahead and click the like button and subscribe, and you'll be able to see other videos. Thanks.